It is very frosty here this morning. Winter has definitely arrived in Australia. It is somewhere between 2 and 3 degrees this morning while I'm out here walking. Very cold. So I'm about to head home, find myself a warm cup of tea. Oh, dear oh dear. So come and see what we've been doing to keep warm and safe this winter. Thanks so much for popping by and visiting our channel. Welcome. If you haven't been here before, my name is Jenny and I'm an Aussie mum of 16 children. We have 9 boys and 7 girls aged from 30 down to 5. So a very busy lifestyle. Today though, being in Australia, it is winter time and it is cold. Very cold. I went for a walk this morning and it was freezing. So I've come home, but I don't think our house is much warmer, frankly. We live in an old weatherboard house, so it is very hard to warm this house up. But yeah, we love this house, so we're not going anywhere, but it is cold in here. So we have been doing a few things to sort of get through the winter months, and I was going to chat about those few things. I had a lady request that I explain what was in what we call B.E.S.S. So it's B.E.S.S. It's a bag of emergency sickness supplies, and I did do a video on it quite a while back, but I thought, well, I'll just update that and I'll explain what's in it and how we use it and why it came about in our house. But I'll get to that in a moment. For right now, I want to ask the question, because I cannot be the only person who ever has this conversation with their significant other. Sheets. Winter sheets versus summer sheets. Seriously, every year Ray and I have this conversation. I could do summer sheets all year round. 365 days of the year, I would be happy with fresh, crisp cotton sheets on my bed. And Ray is the complete opposite. He would have flannelette, you know, the soft, cuddly flannelette sheets on the bed 365 days of the year as well. So we have this push-pull thing about when is the right time to put the sheets on the bed? When is the time to swap them over? And it's funny. I mean, it's lighthearted. I mean, it's not a serious conversation there, but yeah, I try and avoid putting the winter sheets on for as long as I can. And you know what? I finally gave in. It got so cold, I finally gave in. And I let him have his flannelette sheets. Even though the sheets were folded in the linen cupboard, when they sit there for, you know, a good 6 months or so, it's always really nice before you pop them on the bed to give them a quick wash and pop them out onto the clothesline and freshen them up a little bit so that, you know, they smell pretty for everybody. So I have been so busy washing all these sheets because there's a lot of sheets in this household. Okay, so 11 of our 16 kids are still living here at home, so that's a lot of bed linen to clean and get onto beds. But it's really good because the kids are getting older now. They all do their own making of the beds, and the older kids with a younger kid in a bedroom will make the bed for the smaller child as well. So they'll teach them how to make a bed and how to look after that. So that's a good thing. Always get your children learning how to do these things. But yeah, it's been so lovely to look at all the sheets on the clothesline. And then of course what comes with changing the sheets over to the flannelette sheets, doesn't it? The summer sheets have to be washed, folded and put away. So that's a really big job in this house as well. So that's what I've been working on, and just trying to get that tidied up and put into the linen cupboard. And of course, you know what it's like when you start doing one job, you will find more jobs to do. So I did the summer sheets, folded them all up, and went to put them into the linen cupboard, and thought, maybe it's a bit of a time for a bit of a clean out of the linen cupboard. So that's going to be my next job, is kind of cleaning it all out, deciding what to keep, what needs to be maybe made into rags for cleaning, and then we can yeah, get everything back in there nice. But like, you can't buy anything at the moment. The shelves are bare in all the department stores and hardware stores, because during this lockdown, everybody has been renovating and redoing rooms. And of course, there's no containers anywhere. There's no baskets anywhere. There's nothing left. So I'm just going to have to work, I think, with the old baskets that I already have in the linen cupboard. We have a really tiny little linen cupboard. It's a very small linen cupboard for a heck of a lot of people living in a house. So it doesn't always fit. Sometimes, you know, extra things have to go into a crate, or yeah. Storage space is so important. I don't know whether you could ever have enough storage space really in a house. I mean, when you've got kids and, you know, just the stuff that you collect and you've got to put away. And I mean, if you have a place for everything and everything in its place, the house will stay much tidier in the long run. But yeah, there's just a whole lot of people living in a small house here, so it doesn't always fit back into the cupboards the way I would like it to, and it certainly doesn't look all pretty like some people's linen cupboards and their laundry rooms and all of that. You know, they look so beautiful, and it would be nice to have that much space that I could do that, but that's not going to happen. So we just make the best of what we've got here, and we just make it fit. That's my next job, is to probably clean out that linen cupboard and see if I can maybe get rid of a few things, sort of compact it down a little bit to fit in there a bit better. Alrighty, so the next thing that we did with the kids was, what a huge job it is to do clothing for kids and for your family. You know, just staying on top of, I mean, not only do they grow and they get bigger, and then you have to swap out clothing for bigger sizes, but the seasons come and go. So we have big crates that I keep things like winter coats and gowns in, and we had to go through all the kids and make sure that everyone had their winter pajamas that fitted, a gown each, and a winter coat. I think it's really important that everyone makes sure that they have a really good coat that fits well. And of course then, you know, the inevitable bed socks and slippers as well. We're not, look, at times we've bought slippers for everyone. Some of our kids don't like wearing slippers, so they just prefer to wear bed socks, and I'm happy to accommodate that. They will just wear the nice thick socks around the house instead of having to wear slippers. So, I mean, if they want them, I'll buy them, and if they just prefer the socks, we'll just stick with that. But yeah, it was funny, because I pulled these crates down and I pulled out all these coats, and oh, I got so melancholy, because here were these little tiny jackets, you know, size 0s and size 1s, so tiny, and it just melts my heart thinking that my children were that small. They were babies, and it was interesting to look through them, because I have this memory, this connection to some pieces of clothing that a lot of our children have worn, and I found like the little size, that's probably about size 1. It was a little Parker jacket that our eldest boy wore. Well, I mean, he's 30 now, and you know, a grown man doing his own life, and yeah, it was interesting to come across that and think, oh gosh, you know, I might even go back and see if I can find a photo of him wearing it and show you, because it was so darn cute. Yeah, I've got to be a little bit careful every time I dig through boxes of clothing and things. Mum has a a field day of oh, I remember this and I remember so and so wore that, and you know, the kids are like, oh, mum's got her memories out again, you know, she's she's thinking about when we're babies, which is fun. It's fun, guys, really. So yeah, we've been through the gowns and the coats and the socks and the slippers, and got all of our kids, oh, and their pajamas, made sure everyone had pajamas. Don't mind the plane going overhead as I'm speaking. I hope it doesn't get too loud. Okay, so I just went and got that little jacket, and I'll show you the photo in a moment. But look how cute this is. This is a size 1. It's a little itty bitty tiny jacket. It's so cute. Oh, I love baby clothes. It's so cute. And I just remember when, you know, when our eldest was running around in that, and it was just adorable. I can't part with that. I may let my grandchildren borrow it for a little while. But I don't think I can get rid of that. Too cute, right? Look, it's the length of my hand. The sleeve is the length of my hand. So small. Yeah, I don't know if I could part with that one. That's just one of those items, isn't it? Yep, I may have to keep that. Okay. Oh, melancholy moment. I better go put this away again. Okay, so we do not use electric blankets on the beds. We just make sure we're dressed warmly. We have the extra blankets, the flannelette sheets on there, and then we also use hot water bottles. So it's a little time consuming at night because I have a lot of hot water bottles to fill. Always make sure that you don't use boiling water, just use hot water out of the tap. And can I just remind you to make sure that you keep an eye on the quality of the hot water bottles. After a few years, the rubber can soften down and it could actually split or break. And the last thing you want is a hot water bottle filled with hot water bursting. That would be very dangerous. So what we do with the hot water bottles is make sure they have a cover on them for starters, and all the covers in our house are colour coordinated to the bedrooms, as is the linen in our house. It makes it much easier for me to know what I've washed, what room, you know, if I've done the washing and I've washed sheets, then I know that the pink sheets go back into the fairy room, that sort of thing. So it makes my life so much more easy. And we do the same with the hot water bottles. The covers on them actually match the rooms, so I know who's bought their bottles back out in the morning and put them in the laundry for me to be emptied out, and who still has to go and chase theirs up before they make their bed. There's nothing worse than making your bed and then figuring out that you left the hot water bottle in the bed, right? I actually empty the hot water bottles into my watering cans, and I actually use that water every day to water my plants in my garden. So nothing here goes to waste, folks. Everything is used always. So with the hot water bottles, just make sure folks, that you keep an eye on the rubber flanges on the little screw-in plugs to make sure they're in good condition. And as I said, all of our hot water bottles have got different colour covers on them, and that way we know which room they belong in. And just as a little safety tip, just every time you buy a new hot water bottle and start using it, just write the year inside the top of the bottle. And if you write that date in there, it's a good opportunity then to be able to replace them before they become a safety hazard. Alright, this here, this is what we affectionately call Bessie, but it's a B.E.S.S. So, B.E.S.S, Bag of Emergency Sickness Supplies. So essentially, it's a bed in a bag. Okay, and I will show you in a moment. I will find the footage from the other video and pop that in here and show you what's in it and how easy this is to use. Now, we all know that as we go into winter, this is flu season here in Australia. So every winter we do the same thing. I will take these bags and I will wash everything in them, because if you use it and you're not well, the last thing you want is some musty old blanket or pillow that smells terrible. So I think it's really important at the beginning of every season to make sure that you wash it all up, hang it out there on the clothesline, get some sunshine on it, make sure that everything is still in the bag that you will need. And we all know that when kids get sick, they get sick at the most inconvenient times ever. It's always 2 a.m. Why is that? I don't know, but it's very annoying. And we used to go scrambling around the house trying to find a blanket and a bucket and a washer and all these different types of things. And I could never find them all, and you're trying to deal with a sick child. So I had to come up with this plan to have something that made my life a little bit easier in those moments where you are really challenged just to keep it together. You want to be caring for your child. You don't want to be running around the house. And you certainly don't want to be waking up your other children as well. You want them to get a good night's sleep as well. Okay, so these bags are actually the bags that when I bought the kids new doonas for their beds. So a doona is a quilt or an eiderdown that goes on top of the bed. So I kept the bag that I bought those in because they were really strong, sturdy bags. They just zip up one end, which was awesome. And I thought, well, they're a good bag. How can I use them for something? And so what I did is I put the old doonas in the bag instead of throwing them straight out. I took the old pillows, I put them in there as well. I've got a sheet, and in a couple of them there's also a blanket, so if they're sick during winter time they've got something warm to put over them. Old beach towels or an old bath towel, so that's to go over the pillow when you put your kid there. There is a washer or a washcloth or a flannel, they're called, in there as well. And for the girls, I have a hairband in there, so you know you can pull the kids' hair back if they're not well. So that makes life so easy. I can just grab that, spread it out, put it together in a couple of minutes flat. I add a bucket to it, and there you go. You've got a place for your sick child to be, and they can be resting there on that little bed, and you can go and sort out whatever else you need to sort out at that point in time. So it's made our life so much easier. So in our big family, I obviously have quite a few of these. I've got 5 of these bags made up, and I try and make sure that I rotate round. And of course, every time we go to replace pillows or doonas for anyone, I will make sure that the best of them go into the bags, and then the rest can go. And the good thing, I guess, too, about using up all this old stuff is that if you don't get the opportunity to, you know, to wash everything, it can actually be bundled up and thrown out, because that's where it was headed in the first place. It was going to go in the rubbish anyway, so you might as well use it prior, and then it can just be bundled up and disposed of properly. Right, so let me show you the footage of what's in it and just how easy this is to set up. So simple. You'll be able to just grab one of these, pop your sick child there. They can be looked after. It's convenient for you. It'll make life easy. You should try making one. Was I right? That was easy, right? Yep. So easy to use. So simple, will make it so much more convenient for you if one of your family members actually gets sick. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Give it a go. See if that will take the pressure off at 2 a.m. in the morning when your child's sick, and let me know how it turns out for you. Now, if you're in Australia and you're in the cold weather at the moment, stay warm. For those folks who are in different seasons around the world, maybe it's something that you could prepare for next time you're heading into the colder months. So I hear a cuppa calling me somewhere, so I can get warm again today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching. God bless.